The demand. The Galactic Council sat in their grand chamber, a vast room filled with strange lights and strange faces. Representatives from many planets and species gathered to discuss the rising influence of a small planet called Earth. The council was made up of powerful beings, each with unique abilities and technologies. They had lived for thousands of years, ruling over countless worlds. But one thing troubled them. The humans were becoming too bold. At the head of the council sat Zarnuk, a tall, blue-skinned alien with glowing eyes. He was the most respected leader of the council, known for his wisdom and strength. As he surveyed the room, he felt the tension in the air. The humans had recently won a few minor battles against some alien ships, and that worried the council members. They whispered among themselves, unsure of how to handle the situation. Zarnuk raised his hand, silencing the chatter. "We must address the problem of humanity," he declared. "They believe they can challenge us. We must show them their place." His voice echoed in the chamber, commanding attention. A representative from the Xylax race, a small green creature with multiple eyes, spoke up. "But how can we stop them? They are not as advanced as we are. Their technology is primitive." Another member, a fierce-looking warrior from the planet Terek, growled, "We must demand tribute. They should know that they must pay for their arrogance." Zarnuk considered this. The idea of tribute was an old tradition among the council members. When a weaker species showed defiance, the council would demand resources or goods as a show of power. It was a way to remind them of their place in the galaxy. "We shall send a message to Earth," Zarnuk said. "We will demand tribute from them. They must understand that we are not to be trifled with." As the council discussed the details of the demand, the atmosphere grew tense. Some members felt uneasy about the decision. "What if they refuse?" asked a timid representative from the planet Vortex. "What if they retaliate?" Zarnuk shook his head. "That is unlikely. Humans are known for their resilience, but they are also known for their fear. They will comply. They have no choice." Meanwhile, on Earth, the news of the Galactic Council's decision spread quickly. The leaders of Earth gathered in a large conference room. They watched a holographic projection of the Council, each alien face glaring at them from across the galaxy. President Lee stood at the front of the room, her expression serious. "We cannot let them intimidate us. We need to respond swiftly and with strength. We must show them that we will not back down." The room buzzed with conversation as various leaders debated what to do. Some advised compliance, arguing that it would be safer to give the council what they wanted. Others believed that standing firm was the only way to protect Earth's honor. A young diplomat named Aaron raised his hand to speak. He had only been in the government for a short time, but was known for his bold ideas. "If we give in to their demands, we will show weakness. Instead, we should consider countering their demand with a challenge." The room fell silent as everyone turned to look at Aaron. "A challenge?" asked the Secretary of Defense, raising an eyebrow. "What kind of challenge?" Aaron took a deep breath, sensing the weight of the moment. "We challenge the Galactic Council to a contest. Instead of tribute, we will prove our worth through skill and strength. We can show them that humanity is not weak, and we will not bow to their demands." The leaders exchanged glances. Some were skeptical, but others saw the spark of possibility in Aaron's eyes. "What kind of contest?" someone finally asked. Aaron smiled. "We could challenge them to games of strategy, combat, or even cooperation. We will show them our ingenuity and teamwork." President Lee nodded slowly. "This could work. If we can gather our best minds and talents, we might have a chance to win their respect." The discussion grew heated as ideas flowed. Earth could showcase its technological advancements, its athletes, and its brilliant strategists. They would gather their best to represent humanity in the upcoming challenge. As the leaders made their plans, news of the Galactic Council's demand spread across the globe. People reacted with a mix of fear and anger. Some feared the alien council, while others rallied together, ready to defend their home. Social media exploded with messages of support, with many declaring, We will not be slaves to the stars. Meanwhile, back in the Galactic Council chamber, Zarnuk and the council members waited for Earth's response. They were confident that the humans would comply with their demand. Soon, we will have our tribute, Zarnuk declared, a smirk on his face. And they will learn that defiance has consequences. But little did they know, humanity was preparing for something they could not expect. The seeds of rebellion had been sown, and the stage was set for a confrontation that would change the galaxy forever. As the council prepared to dismiss the meeting, Zarnuk felt a strange sense of unease. He dismissed it, believing that the humans were just another easy target. Yet, in the back of his mind, a nagging thought lingered. What if they are more than they seem? The council had made a dangerous decision, and the first move in this intergalactic game had been made. Soon, both sides would discover that when it came to humanity, appearances could be deceiving. You said. The challenge. After President Lee announced the plan to challenge the Galactic Council, the atmosphere in the Earth leadership meeting shifted from tension to excitement. The leaders felt a newfound sense of hope and determination. They knew they needed to act fast. Time was not on their side. Days passed quickly as Earth's best minds were assembled. Scientists, athletes, and strategists gathered to discuss how to impress the Galactic Council. They created a team that included experts from various fields, each ready to showcase humanity's strengths. Meanwhile, news of the challenge reached the Galactic Council. Zarnuk and his fellow council members were surprised but intrigued. They dare to challenge us, one council member exclaimed, disbelief clear in their voice. Zarnuk remained calm, hiding his annoyance. Let them think they have a chance. We will crush their spirit and remind them who truly rules the galaxy. As preparations began on both sides, the people of Earth felt a surge of pride. They watched as their leaders trained, strategized, and worked together. Media outlets broadcasted the stories of Earth's representatives, highlighting their skills and courage. The day of the challenge arrived, and excitement buzzed through the air. The venue was a massive arena, designed to accommodate various competitions. Colorful banners hung everywhere, displaying the flags of both Earth and the Galactic Council. The crowd of alien representatives filled the stands, their eyes glimmering with anticipation. Humans watched from their screens at home, hopeful and eager to see how their champions would perform. The council members sat on a raised platform, watching closely. Zarnuk leaned forward, intrigued by the humans' confidence. He had seen countless species compete, but he could sense something different about these humans. The first event was a game of strategy. A complex board filled with colorful pieces represented different factions. Two teams of humans faced off against two alien teams. The goal was to outsmart each other, controlling territory and resources. As the game began, the humans demonstrated remarkable teamwork and creativity. They used unexpected tactics, surprising the council members with their cleverness. The aliens struggled to keep up, and soon the humans secured their first victory. Zarnuk clenched his jaw. This is just a game. It does not reflect their true abilities, he muttered, trying to downplay the human success. Next was a physical competition, an obstacle course that tested agility and strength. A group of Earth's top athletes took to the course, showcasing their training and determination. They leaped over barriers, climbed walls, and navigated treacherous paths. The crowd cheered as the humans finished the course, outpacing their alien opponents. The council members exchanged glances, some looking uneasy. Zarnuk tried to remain composed, but he felt a flicker of doubt creeping in. Finally, the last event was a test of cooperation. Humans and aliens were paired together, forced to work as a team to complete a challenging task. The goal was to build a complex structure using limited resources. This time, the humans collaborated with their alien partners, sharing ideas and strategies. Their innovative thinking and communication skills shone through. The structure took shape quickly, impressing the audience. As the competition ended, the humans emerged victorious, winning the respect of many council members. The cheers echoed through the arena, signaling a new alliance forming between some humans and aliens. Zarnuk felt the weight of the situation pressing down on him. He had underestimated humanity's potential, and their victory left him feeling unsettled. "This is not over," he declared, his voice steady but filled with determination. "We must not let their success change our resolve." In the days that followed, Earth celebrated its unexpected triumph. People from all over the planet united in joy, proud of their champions. But within the Galactic Council, tensions grew. Some members argued that they should reassess their approach to humanity. Others insisted on maintaining their dominance. As the debates continued, Zarnuk had an idea. He would propose a new plan to the Council, to invite humanity for further discussions. This time, they would not just demand tribute. They would consider a partnership. However, he kept this thought to himself. The Council was not ready to see humanity as equals. Zarnuk knew he had to tread carefully, maintaining the facade of superiority, while secretly plotting to learn more about these resilient humans. Back on Earth, President Lee received word of Zarnuk's proposal for talks. She viewed it as a sign of weakness. The humans had proven themselves, but they needed to remain vigilant. "We must be careful," she warned her team. "This could be a trap." But Aaron, the young diplomat, felt a surge of optimism. "This could be our chance to establish a real relationship with them. We need to show them we are willing to cooperate." The leadership team debated the best course of action, weighing the risks and benefits. The galaxy was shifting, and humanity stood at the center of it all. As they prepared for the upcoming talks, the stakes were higher than ever. Both sides would have to navigate the delicate balance of power and trust. The challenge was just beginning, and neither the Galactic Council nor humanity knew how the story would unfold. The next move would determine the future of both Earth and the galaxy, setting the stage for a battle of wills that would reshape their destinies forever. The negotiation. The atmosphere was tense as President Lee and her team entered the Grand Hall for the negotiations with the Galactic Council. The hall was vast, filled with representatives from various alien races, all watching with keen interest. The walls shimmered with holographic displays of stars and planets, a reminder of the vastness of the galaxy and the challenges that lay ahead. President Lee took a deep breath. This was a historic moment for humanity. She glanced at her team. Aaron, the optimistic diplomat. Sarah, the fierce negotiator, and Commander Reyes, who had seen many battles. They all understood the weight of this meeting. Zarnuk, the representative of the Galactic Council, stood at the front, his tall, imposing figure casting a shadow over the room. His alien features were sharp and angular, and his eyes glowed with intensity. "Welcome, Earth representatives," he began, his voice echoing through the hall. "We meet today to discuss the future of our relations and the tribute that humanity will provide." President Lee stepped forward confidently. "Thank you for having us, Zarnuk. We believe that a partnership based on mutual respect and understanding is far more valuable than any tribute. Humanity has proven its strength and creativity, as you saw during the challenge." Zarnuk's eyes narrowed slightly. "You have indeed shown remarkable skills. However, the Galactic Council has its traditions. We expect a tribute from all planets under our jurisdiction. It is a matter of balance in the galaxy." Lee felt a wave of frustration but maintained her composure. Tribute should not be seen as a payment but as a foundation for a partnership. "Let's discuss how we can collaborate instead. We can share technology, knowledge, and resources." Zarnuk considered her words carefully. The council members whispered among themselves, some nodding in agreement, while others looked skeptical. "Your proposition is intriguing, President Lee," Zarnuk replied slowly. "But the council must ensure that Earth does not become a threat. We must protect our interests. How can we trust your intentions?" Commander Reyes stepped in, his military experience lending weight to his words. "Trust is built through actions. We are willing to demonstrate our commitment to peace and cooperation. We propose joint training exercises, sharing our military strategies and resources." The room fell silent as the council members exchanged glances. This was a bold move. Zarnak raised an eyebrow, intrigued. Joint military exercises. This is unprecedented. Why would you offer such a thing? Because we believe in transparency, Lee replied firmly. If we are to be allies, we need to understand each other's strengths and weaknesses. We can learn from one another. Zarnak hesitated, weighing the offer. It was risky, but the potential rewards were immense. Very well, he said finally. We will consider this proposal, but understand this. Any failure on your part to follow through will have consequences. The tension in the room eased slightly. Lee knew they had made a breakthrough, but there was still much to discuss. Thank you, Zarnak. We also propose cultural exchanges. Let us learn about your civilizations while you learn about ours. This idea seemed to spark curiosity among the council members. Cultural exchanges could be beneficial, one of the alien representatives said, their voice low but eager. We could share art, science, and history. Lee seized the opportunity. Exactly. Understanding our cultures will help bridge the gap between us. Let's start with a festival, an event where we showcase our unique customs and traditions. Zarnak nodded slowly, his expression thoughtful. A festival could serve as a valuable tool for building trust. However, I must emphasize that you must be cautious. The Council will not tolerate any actions that threaten our stability. With that, the negotiations continued, diving deeper into the specifics of the partnership. They discussed trade agreements, technological exchanges, and military training. As the hours passed, both sides began to see the potential for collaboration. Meanwhile, outside the Grand Hall, the people of Earth waited anxiously for news. The media buzzed with speculation, and families gathered around screens to hear updates. Hope mingled with anxiety as they watched their leaders engage with the Galactic Council. Back in the hall, as the meeting drew to a close, Zarnak leaned in closer to Lee. One more thing, he said quietly. I have heard whispers of dissent among certain council members. They believe your success in the challenge was a fluke. You must prove them wrong. Lee met his gaze, feeling a spark of determination. We will show them the true strength of humanity. We will not be underestimated. Zarnak nodded, a hint of respect in his eyes. Then let us prepare for the festival. The future of our alliance depends on it. As the delegates left the hall, President Lee felt a sense of accomplishment. They had taken the first steps toward a new era, but she also knew challenges lay ahead. The council members' skepticism would not disappear easily. Back on Earth, the preparations for the festival began. Communities united in excitement, each eager to showcase what made humanity unique. Artisans, performers, and scientists began sharing their talents, creating a vibrant tapestry of culture. But in the shadows, Zarnak and some council members plotted their next move. They could not let humanity gain too much influence. The balance of power in the galaxy was delicate, and any misstep could lead to chaos. As Earth and the Galactic Council prepared for the upcoming festival, the stage was set for a dramatic clash of cultures and ambitions. The fate of their alliance would be decided soon, and both sides had much to prove. The festival. The day of the festival had arrived, and excitement filled the air on Earth. President Lee and her team had worked tirelessly to prepare for this moment. Hopes were high as the people looked forward to showcasing humanity's culture to the Galactic Council. It was a chance to strengthen the budding alliance and prove that humanity could be a valuable partner. The festival was held in a vast open space, transformed into a vibrant spectacle. Colorful banners fluttered in the gentle breeze, and stalls filled with food, art, and crafts lined the area. Music filled the air, blending human melodies with alien sounds, creating a harmonious atmosphere. As President Lee stepped onto the stage, she looked out at the sea of faces, humans and aliens alike. Her heart raced with a mix of pride and nervousness. She knew the eyes of the Galactic Council were upon them, evaluating every detail of the event. Welcome, everyone, she began, her voice steady and clear. Today, we celebrate the beauty of our cultures and the strength of our alliance. Together, we can achieve great things. Cheers erupted from the crowd, but a few alien representatives watched with skepticism. Zarnak stood among them, his expression unreadable. He had made it clear that he would be observing closely, and the success of the festival would impact the Council's decision regarding humanity. The festival featured various activities, each designed to highlight humanity's creativity and spirit. There were art exhibitions showcasing paintings, sculptures, and photography, alongside live performances of dance and music from different cultures around the world. The stalls offered food that ranged from traditional dishes to modern twists, showcasing the diversity of human cuisine. As the festivities began, a group of alien representatives approached a stall displaying human art. A tall, blue-skinned alien named Tarak examined a painting depicting a sunset over a calm ocean. "Your art is vivid," he remarked, tilting his head in curiosity. "What does it represent?" The artist, a young woman named Mia, smiled proudly. "This painting represents hope and tranquility. It reflects how we find beauty in the world around us, even in difficult times." Tarak nodded, clearly intrigued. "I can see that. Perhaps our worlds are not so different after all." As the day progressed, more aliens began to mingle with humans, drawn in by the festive atmosphere. Laughter echoed, and the barriers between the two cultures began to dissolve. It was a step toward unity, a sign that perhaps this alliance could work. Meanwhile, Zarnak observed from a distance, his eyes narrowing as he noted the enthusiasm among his fellow council members. They seemed to be warming to the idea of collaboration, but he remained cautious. The council's traditions weighed heavily on his mind, and he could not forget their skepticism. As the sun began to set, President Lee took the stage once more. "As we celebrate our differences, let us remember our common goals. Together, we can build a brighter future for both our worlds." The crowd erupted in applause, and the energy in the air was electric. Lee's heart swelled with hope. Perhaps this was the beginning of something extraordinary. However, not everyone was pleased with the alliance. In the shadows, a group of disgruntled council members whispered among themselves. "This festival is nothing but a distraction," one said, his voice low and sharp. "We cannot let humanity gain power." Another nodded in agreement. "We must show them their place. We cannot allow them to threaten our dominance in the galaxy." With a sinister plan forming, they decided to intervene. They approached Zarnak, eager to sway him to their side. "You must act now, Zarnak. Humanity's display of culture is simply a facade. They are not to be trusted." Zarnak hesitated. He had seen the potential in the humans and felt a growing respect for President Lee. Yet he knew the Council's traditions could not be ignored. "I will not act rashly. We must assess the situation further." As the festival reached its peak, a spectacular fireworks display lit up the sky, painting it with vibrant colors. Humans and aliens alike watched in awe, united in their admiration for the spectacle. The moment felt magical, as if the universe itself was celebrating their newfound connection. But just as the crowd was reveling in the celebration, an unexpected disturbance shattered the festive atmosphere. A group of aliens, aligned with the dissenters, stormed onto the stage, their faces twisted with anger. "Enough of this charade," one shouted. "Humanity cannot be trusted. They are a threat to our way of life." Gasps echoed through the crowd as the festival came to a halt. President Lee stepped forward, her heart racing. "What is the meaning of this?" she demanded, trying to maintain her composure. "This festival is a trap," the alien continued, gesturing wildly. "You are trying to deceive us with your false promises of peace. We will not be fooled." Zarnak moved to intervene, but the dissenters pressed on. "We will not allow a new power to rise in the galaxy. We must take action now." As tensions escalated, President Lee knew she had to act quickly. "We are not your enemies," she shouted, her voice steady. "We want to work together, to build a future that benefits us all." Don't let fear cloud your judgment. The crowd murmured, unsure of what to believe. Zarnak stepped forward, his authority demanding attention. This festival was meant to bridge our cultures, not divide us. Let us discuss this calmly. But the dissenters would not back down. As chaos threatened to engulf the festival, Lee realized that their unity was being tested. She needed to find a way to prove humanity's intentions and protect their fragile alliance. The night was far from over, and the challenges ahead would define the future of Earth and the Galactic Council. The stakes were higher than ever, and President Lee knew that she had to rally her people and the aliens alike to stand against the forces of division. The showdown. The atmosphere was thick with tension as President Lee faced the dissenting aliens on stage. The bright lights of the festival flickered in the background, casting an eerie glow over the scene. The crowd, once filled with laughter and joy, now stood frozen, unsure of what would happen next. The alien who had shouted the accusations, a tall being with fiery red skin and piercing yellow eyes, stepped closer to the stage. You think we will believe your words? We see your celebration as a cover for your true intentions. You want to overpower us. President Lee took a deep breath, trying to maintain her composure. We are not here to dominate. We are here to learn from each other and create a partnership that benefits both our worlds. But we cannot do that if you let fear guide your actions. Zarnak moved beside her, his presence offering some reassurance. Fear is a weapon, and it can destroy what we have built. Let us not be blinded by it. We must find common ground, not deepen the divide. The crowd began to murmur, caught between the passionate pleas of their leaders and the dissenters' harsh accusations. Lee could feel the weight of their uncertainty pressing down on her. This was more than a festival. It was a test of humanity's worthiness as an ally. The red-skinned alien, who seemed to be the leader of the dissenters, shook his head, his expression filled with contempt. You think your words will change anything. The council will never accept you as equals. We will ensure that you remember this day as the moment you tried to deceive us. Suddenly, the dissenters surged forward, intent on disrupting the event further. Lee felt her heart race as she glanced at Zarnak, who appeared ready to defend her. But before he could react, the crowd of humans began to shout in support of their president. Stop! This is not how we resolve our issues. One human yelled, stepping forward bravely. Others joined in, echoing their defiance against the dissenters. Let's talk this out. Another shouted, urging both sides to consider peaceful dialogue. President Lee seized the moment, stepping away from Zarnak to address the crowd directly. Listen to each other. We cannot allow a few voices of dissent to overshadow our hopes for a united future. We must not fight among ourselves when we are capable of so much more. The words resonated with many in the crowd. Humans and aliens began to move closer to one another, uniting against the dissenters. The festival, which had started as a celebration of culture, was now transforming into a stand for unity. The leader of the dissenters, realizing that he was losing control, shouted again, "You are making a grave mistake. The council will hear about this." Zarnak's voice boomed over the chaos, "And they will hear of how we chose to stand together rather than fall apart. We have the power to reshape this future, but it starts here and now. We must choose collaboration over conflict." As tensions continued to simmer, President Lee felt a spark of determination ignite within her. "We can learn from one another," she said, her voice rising above the noise. "Let us use this moment to come together, to forge a bond that no dissent can break." Just then, the lights dimmed, and the grand fireworks display resumed, illuminating the night sky with brilliant colors. The explosions of light drew the crowd's attention away from the dissenters, shifting the mood from hostility to awe. For a moment, everyone was entranced by the beauty unfolding above them. Lee took advantage of the distraction, moving closer to the dissenters, her voice calm yet firm. "We are all part of this galaxy. We share its wonders and its challenges. Let us not allow fear to push us apart." The red-skinned alien hesitated, looking back at his supporters, who were now caught in the moment's magic. Perhaps, he thought, There was more to humanity than he had initially believed. "What do you propose?" he asked, skepticism lacing his tone. "Let's start by listening," Lee replied. "Let us talk. Share our fears and hopes. We can create a council of our own, one that includes voices from both our worlds." The crowd erupted in applause, a wave of hope sweeping through. The dissenters, faced with the overwhelming unity of both humans and aliens, found themselves on the defensive. The alien leader glanced at Zarnak, who nodded in encouragement. "I will consider your offer, but trust must be earned," he replied, his tone softening. "We will meet again, and I hope we can leave our differences behind." With that, the tension began to dissipate. The dissenters, though still skeptical, agreed to hear Lee's proposal. The unity of the festival had turned the tide, showing that even the most divided groups could find common ground. As the fireworks continued to light up the night, President Lee felt a sense of relief wash over her. This was only the beginning of a long journey, but it was a significant step toward bridging the gap between their worlds. Together, they had faced the challenge, and together, they would find a way forward. Little did they know, the Council's watchful eyes were upon them, observing every move. The future of their alliance was far from certain, but for now, they had forged a moment of unity, a beacon of hope amid the chaos of uncertainty. The Council's verdict. The day of the Galactic Council's final decision had arrived. The Grand Hall of the Council was packed with representatives from every corner of the galaxy, their eyes fixed on the humans, and their alien allies standing at the center of the chamber. Tensions ran high as President Lee, Zarnak, and their delegation awaited the Council's verdict on humanity's fate. President Lee stood tall, her face calm but her heart pounding in her chest. The unity achieved at the festival had given her hope, but she knew the Council was a different matter. Many of the Council members were still suspicious of humanity's intentions, seeing them as unpredictable newcomers to galactic politics. The Grand Counselor, a stern alien with silver skin and glowing eyes, banged his staff on the floor, silencing the room. His voice echoed through the chamber. "The Council has reviewed the events of the Unity Festival, as well as the concerns raised by certain factions regarding humanity's potential threat to galactic peace." The air was thick with anticipation. President Lee exchanged a glance with Zarnak, who nodded reassuringly. He had been a steadfast ally throughout this ordeal, and now his presence was more important than ever. "Humanity," the Grand Counselor continued, "you have shown resilience, creativity, and a desire for peace. However, there are those who believe your species possesses a dangerous unpredictability, and that you may one day disrupt the balance of the galaxy." A murmur rippled through the chamber. Lee could feel the weight of countless eyes upon her, judging her and her people. She knew this moment could determine humanity's place in the galaxy for generations to come. "But," the Grand Counselor said, his voice cutting through the noise, "we have also witnessed something remarkable. During the Unity Festival, despite being provoked and threatened, your people did not respond with violence or hostility. Instead, you chose to seek understanding and cooperation." The room quieted, the counselors listening intently. "This council values peace above all else," the Grand Counselor continued. "And in that regard, humanity has demonstrated a commitment to our shared ideals." A wave of relief washed over Lee, but she kept her composure. The decision wasn't made yet. However, the Grand Counselor added, his tone serious, "There are those among us who still harbor doubts. Therefore, we propose a compromise." President Lee held her breath. "The Galactic Council will grant humanity provisional membership," the Grand Counselor declared. "You will be given a place among us, but under the condition that you continue to demonstrate your peaceful intentions. You will be closely monitored, and any actions that threaten the stability of the galaxy will be met with immediate consequences." The chamber erupted into a mix of applause and murmurs of discontent. The decision was not a complete victory, but it was far better than the outright rejection that many had feared. Lee exhaled slowly, allowing herself a moment of relief. Provisional membership wasn't perfect, but it was a start, a foothold for humanity in the galaxy. Zarnak stepped forward, his voice booming with confidence. The people of my world will stand with humanity. We have seen their spirit, their drive for progress, and their willingness to work toward a better future. Together, we will prove that this decision was the right one. The Grand Counselor nodded. We will hold you to your word, Zarnak. The fate of humanity rests in their actions, as well as their alliances. Do not disappoint us. President Lee bowed her head respectfully. We understand the responsibility given to us, and we will honor it. Humanity seeks not to dominate, but to thrive alongside the rest of the galaxy. We will prove that our place here is earned. With that, the council session came to a close. The decision was made. Humanity had a chance to prove themselves, but the road ahead was far from easy. They had allies, but they also had enemies who would be watching for any misstep. As President Lee and her delegation exited the chamber, the weight of the council's verdict still hung over them. The galaxy was vast and unpredictable, and they had only just begun their journey. But for now, they had secured a place at the table, a chance to build a future among the stars. Outside the Grand Hall, Zarnak turned to Lee, a rare smile on his face. We did it. This is the beginning of something new. Lee nodded, though her expression remained serious. It's a victory, but it's also a test. We'll need to stay vigilant. Zarnak placed a hand on her shoulder. You've shown your people have the strength to endure. Now, we'll show the galaxy that humanity is a force for good. As they walked away from the council chambers, the stars stretched out before them, endless and full of possibilities. Humanity had taken its first steps into a larger world, and though the future was uncertain, one thing was clear: this was only the beginning of their story.